Up until a few years ago, competition in the world of artificial intelligence was very simple: a few limited models, a few well-known companies, and a future that seemed almost predictable. But today, with the arrival of models like Gemini 3 Pro and GPT-5.2, the story has completely changed. The question of this video is not which one is better. The more important question is, does the current path of these models lead to a major breakthrough? Or are we getting close to a structural failure? The overall picture of the competition, Gemini 3 Pro is a direct product of Google's ecosystem, a model that was designed from the very beginning for deep integration with search, multimodal data, and Google's services. On the other side, GPT-5.2 is the continuation of a path that OpenAI has been following for years. A focus on more general intelligence, more human-like interaction, and broad use across different tools. Here, the competition is not just model versus model, it's a competition between two different philosophies in building artificial intelligence. Quality of responses and understanding the question. Gemini 3 Pro usually performs very accurately when answering information-based, analytical, and multi-source questions, especially when the topic involves data, charts, or combining text with images. GPT 5.2, however, focuses more on the natural flow of conversation and understanding the user's intent. Many times its answers are less formal but more understandable and more human-like. Creativity versus accuracy. In creative tasks such as screenwriting, idea generation, explaining complex concepts in simple language. GPT 5.2 usually has the upper hand, but when you enter areas like data analysis, technical comparison, precise, multi-step reasoning. Gemini 3 Pro often behaves in a more structured and conservative way. Here, the choice depends on what the user is looking for, not on which model is stronger. Speed, scale, and ecosystem. One of the important differences happens behind the scenes. Gemini relies heavily on Google's infrastructure, high-speed access to massive data, and direct integration with tools like Search, Docs, and YouTube. GPT 5.2, however, focuses more on APIs, developer tools, and independent use across different products. Meaning, Gemini shines more within an ecosystem, GPT moves more across platforms. Limitations and challenges. Both models face a common challenge: cost, resource consumption, and users' overly high expectations. As the models get bigger, but are they really getting smarter? Or just more complex? When the gap between versions becomes less noticeable for the average user, that's when the risk of an expectation failure emerges. Not a technical failure. Is a major failure on the way? Maybe failure does not mean destruction, but rather a redefinition of the path. Perhaps the future is not about which model is the strongest, but instead, which model is built exactly for which task. Gemini 3 Pro and GPT 5.2 are not enemies. Each represents a different perspective on the future of artificial intelligence. One is data-driven, structured, and ecosystem-based. The other is conversation-driven, creative, and flexible. And now, the final question for you. If only one of these paths were to shape the future, which one do you see as more logical, or do you think a third path is on the way?